Legacy, where the SHA talks find out and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. He's a relationship expert, matchmaker, and of course, a comedian too, none other than Mr. Paul Roseberry.
Hey, how are you, Daniel?
I'm fabulous, Mr. Paul. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Yeah, so as you were mentioning, I'm a relationship expert. I've been a matchmaker for two of the largest matchmaking agencies in the United States. And yeah, I talk a lot about the security method, about how I can help people build better relationships. And I think there's a little bit of background music. Does that play the whole time?
Yes, yes, no,
Oh, there we go.
no, it stopped. Yes.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I help people to build better relationships. I teach people how to learn and understand how to build self confidence, which then allows them to build a great relationship with themselves. And then they can have great relationships in all aspects, whether as I focus on romantic relationships, but also, relationships with friends, family, coworkers, everybody. It's a pretty universal method.
Everybody indeed. And Mr. Paul, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Thank you. So today let's talk about the biggest gain men can make today for a better relationships. So if you had to pinpoint the single most significant internal shift, a change in mindset or self-perception that can immediately improve a man's relationships, what would it be and why?
Learn to become aware of your personal value, which can sound like sort of a platitude these days, but I have some very specific methods in how to do that. You've got to get excited about yourself. You have to. You have to get excited about yourself. Once you get excited about who you are and what you can bring to a relationship, then you're in a great position to be able to protect your value. And that's why my method is called the security method, because I teach people how to protect their own value. And then once they get comfortable with protecting their own value, then it's very easy for them to expand that to protect the value of those who they care most about. And people get very excited about those who know how to provide security. So that and I refer to security as the ability to protect that which has value. So that's you.
Yes, interesting, Mr. Paul. And how does redefining personal strength from stoic independence to emotionally agile independence fundamentally change how man shows up in his relationships?
I'm sorry, I didn't fully catch that. You were saying what now?
So, how does redefining personal strength from
Mm.
stoic independence to emotionally agile independence fundamentally change how a man shows up in his relationships?
Sure. So when a man comes to understand is see most people I find they don't have any sort of a plan when they're getting into a relationship. They really don't see that at it's an emotional decision. They want to be in a relationship, they don't want to be single. They see someone who's attractive, they think that person would be fun to be with. And so they just say, "Hey, I want to be with someone who's hot and someone who likes me." A lot of times people even get in relationships because they want to be validated. They might not feel that great about themselves, so they want to be with someone who seems exciting and valuable because if that person approves of them, then they feel more valuable. Like a lot of guys will see a hot girl. Oh, if that hot girl will go out with me, people will look at me differently because I'm with her. And so they do whatever it takes to try to please somebody else. That's not attractive. What you've got to do, you got to start at the root. You got to take a good look at yourself. You got to ask yourself, what do you bring to a relationship? Be real. What do you bring to a relationship? What makes you valuable in a relationship? What makes you excited about you? Then you can walk around saying, all right, I have something really valuable to share with others. And then you look at other people differently. You look at your who you pick and choose to spend your time with differently, because you know that you bring something to the table. So you want to look and see what other people bring to the table. And if it's not a match, then you just move on.
Definitely move on, people. Move on. Why is it moving from listening to respond to listening to understand, such as revolutionary act, and what practical
Yeah.
step can make take to make shift today?
That's a great question. I really like that. Listening to respond versus listening to understand. So, listening to respond sounds like someone who's just trying to keep up with the conversation. It sounds like someone who is trying to listen to what that person's saying and just to please them, to listen to respond. And God, worst case scenario, someone who's really just listening to know when the other person stops talking so they can say the thing they've been wanting to say, and just waiting for a break. That's the worst kind of conversation. um, Listening to understand is someone who genuinely wants to know if the person who they're talking with is someone who they could build any sort of a relationship with. They're looking to find out who this person is, what their interests are, and what their common interests might be. That's how somebody who has value for their time and value for themselves carries themselves in a relationship, because they're saying, hey, look, if we have a reason to continue and talk more, maybe get to know each other further down the road, then that's great. But if we're not a fit and we don't have similar interests, no big deal. But I've got to move on, even if, hey, maybe this is a romantic chat and the girl may be very attractive, but they have nothing in common. The guy might have to be able to say, hey, look, you seem really nice. I've enjoyed the chat, but I've got to run. And then that's someone who's looking to understand, because it's to compare to their own value.
Yes, definitely. And Mr. Poe, what does it look like for a man to take radical ownership of his emotional state and his role in relationship dynamics instead of blaming his partner for how he feels?
Oh, the blame game, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Blame yourself first. Honestly, that's how you got to look at it, man. If you're going to grow up, you're going to be a man, you got to take a real look at things. Is it always going to be your fault? No, but you've got to look. Here's the beauty. Here's the beauty of looking at yourself first. And this is heavy for some very specific circumstances we can discuss later on. Uh, the beauty of looking at your responsibility first is that you have the ability to create change within yourself. You can't assume you're going to change other people. You shouldn't even plan to try to persuade other people to change until you're certain that you have considered that you may be the person who needs to make some change here. And if you are, then great, because you can change you. This is awesome. You've got full admin access to your own control panel in that sense. So, yes, taking ownership of your actions and your responsibility gives you the opportunity to have ownership over your change opportunities as well.
Mr. Poe, on practical emotional skills. Many men struggle to name what they are feeling beyond good, bad, or angry. What is the simple way to build a more nuanced emotional vocabulary, and why is this a superpower for connection?
Good, bad, or angry. Yeah, I mean, you've got to be able to expand, because really it's expanding your emotional spectrum is expanding what you are setting yourself up to be able to experience. You know what I mean? It's like, if say if your reaction to food was just good, bad, or meh, whatever, like, then what are you ever going to be able to order? What are you ever going to be able to seek out? Maybe you want sweet, maybe you want savory, maybe you want, like a brunchy kind of, like, an expanded interest is going to give you more of a palette to choose from. And yeah, I think that that's a very valuable thing to consider. That's why I tell people you've got to make a list of what the things are that you're looking for from a relationship. You've got to have a plan as to what it is that you're hoping to be a part of. And when I say a list, I always call it the fives. There are several different lists I recommend people make, but what you want from a relationship, you should have five things you really want from a relationship. And I always say it's really a list of like 50 or 60. It's the list is as long as you want. You keep changing, you keep adding to it over time, but you keep moving your top five, whatever really stands out to you as your top five, and be flexible. Not all relationships are going to be all things. You got to live in the real world. But there are certain things that if they really stand out to you, they're really important to you, then know those things and hang on to them. And that's just going to, it's like if you're going to buy a car, you got to know, do you want a minivan? Do you want an SUV? Do you want a sports coupe? You've got to know what you want. And the more you know what you want, the more likely you are to find it.
When is a partner is sharing a problem, what is the transformative alternative to immediately offering a solutions, and why is it alternative often what she truly needs?
I'm sorry. So you're saying when there's a problem?
Yes. And what is transformative alternative to immediately offering solution to your partner?
Well, when I hear immediately offering solution, I wonder, a lot of guys may be too accommodating and they may be looking to become the solution, even if it's not their place to be the solution. Maybe there needs to be flexibility in your partner. And this is a great place. This is where I got the concept for the security method, because you've got to be willing to leave a situation which does not work for you. You've got to be willing to walk away. Now, if you're able to walk away, chances are you may not have to, but you will stand up and you will be clear in what does and what doesn't work for you throughout the relationship, because you will have a line at which point you say, this doesn't work for me anymore. But within that, you have your own flexibility and you've got your negotiation, and you can say, hey, look, here's what I'm seeing. Here's what doesn't feel right. I've got some flexibility, but I feel like we're both going to have to work on this because I'm not being, I'm not feeling good. This isn't doing it for me. And there are some things that I feel like I would like for you to be working on. And if you can stand up and say that, you're going to get more respect. A lot of guys, like I said in the beginning, a lot of guys are like, "Oh, I'll be the solution. I'll be the solution. He'll always be the solution." Even if no, maybe she's kind of being a lot to test you and see if you have a line. People will test you, men and women, but women especially will test men to see if you can stand your own ground and have a backbone. So do it.
Do it, people. Stop procrastinating. Do it.
Do
So
it.
what now? So what is healthy and non-destructive outlet for processing a frustration or anger before it gets directed at a partner?
Communicate, and communicate frequently. Frequently, sooner. Do not let things snowball. A lot of nice guys, a lot of accommodating guys, they will let things go because they go, all right, that's not that big of a deal. That doesn't feel right. I don't like how that went, but I really value this relationship. I don't want things to end. I don't want to rock the boat. So I'm not going to point that out. Then I'm not going to point this out. Then I'm not going to point that out. And then there's no communication about little things that bother them until one day it's really all collected in one big ball of stress. And the guy either snaps off or cheats. Like it's frequent, honest communication. Early, early, early. Don't let things go. Communicate regularly.
Communicate, people,
Yeah.
is the key to success. So, speaking of the key, what are the key components of a genuine, effective apology that actually repairs trust as opposed to a hello, I'm sorry, at the end of the argument?
An apology that has value is one which is followed by action. Whatever action on your part which led you to need to apologize, when you apologize for that action, follow it with a change in your future action. Whatever it was that you did before, don't do it again. That's how you show that your apology had value. Don't do it again, or do something better. Exchange that action for different action, which is more constructive. It's more beneficial to the relationship. It's more affectionate, or has, demonstrates greater strength. But an apology followed by reciprocated action, or not reciprocate, accompanying action, that's a real apology.
On building connection and intimacy, Mr. Paul,
Mm.
can you explain the concept of turning towards your partners small bits of attention and connection, and why mastering this is more impactful than occasional grand gesture?
Yeah, it's similar to the communication. A relationship has got to be fun. It's got to be fun. It's got to be something that it can't be all work. I mean, any relationship includes some work, but it's got to be enjoyable. And I compare relationships to being like tennis in a way. You play together, you bat the ball back and forth regularly, and you get better by playing with each other. Then, when you go out in the real world, you two are actually on the same team playing against the rest of the world. So that's one way that I like to compare things to tennis. But think about the pace of tennis. It's hit, hit, hit. It's going back and forth. So again, same idea. Keep things flowing. It should be fun daily by the hour, kind of. Really steadiness, frequency.
How can a man start the practice of vulnerability in a way that feels authentic and safe? And how does these directly fuel intimacy and the partner's sense of security, Mr. Paul?
It's a great question, Daniel. Uh, a man showing his vulnerability can be very hot, or it can be a huge turnoff. A big part of the determining difference is, has he established a display of his strength before he displays his vulnerability? Think about it. If a man's job has a lot to do with providing security, then hey, you've got a guy who's a soldier and he's shown you he's strong in 100 different ways. But he says, "Hey, I'm also vulnerable in certain ways, and I'm real because that's what makes me human." That's fine. You don't mind knowing that there's some vulnerability if we're talking within reason. Once you've discovered that there's a lot of strength already, you can't be vulnerable up front. That's going to seem needy. It's going to seem weak. It's going to seem like she's going to have to be the security for you. Um, but then don't ever act like it's not there. You know what I mean? It's okay to shed a tear during a rom com, I suppose. But once you've already gotten excited about a couple cooler movies, lead with strength and then be honest about vulnerability once you've built that trust.
Build that trust.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. And how cultivating a stance of a genuine curiosity about partners in a world, her dreams, fears, and a changing perspective prevent relationship from growing stagnant.
I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm getting the best audio. What was that question?
Yes. For a single man, what is the most important gain he can make his approach to dating that will set him up healthy long-term relationship
Oh,
instead of a series of short-term connections?
get excited about you, get
Hmm.
excited about you, and then understand how to go about regulating your ability to share what it is about you that you're excited about, while also learning about somebody new. sharing your excitement about yourself is part of your aura, if you will. It's part of your energy, your vibe that you carry around. That's going to be an implied confidence. And then once you have that, then you decided. And my method, basically, my method includes getting excited about you, knowing what you want from a relationship, going out there, and when you meet women, understand your goal is to end up with just one of them, just one, and be serious about that. If that's what you want, if you want monogamy, if you want to get into a serious one-on-one relationship, then understand you're only going to get serious about one person at a time, and eventually one person that you marry or stay with forever. Who cares? Whatever. In
Mm.
understanding that, you're going to go from desperate. If you didn't have this mindset before, you're trying to take whoever to try to fill a gap in your life. You feel alone, you feel low value. You're going to try and find people to make you feel valuable. You can be desperate. And then when you take this mind shift that I talk about, now you're going to become exclusive, because no matter how many women you meet, you're looking for one person in the end. And you're not going to find that person the first day, probably, and you're going to have to go through some short-term relationships to kind of learn a little bit more about people, to get to the one that results in long-term. But this is how you get to something long-term. You know what you want, believe you can have it, know what you bring to the table that makes you, capable of achieving, and then have an exclusive mindset about people who just aren't going to be a fit, and be willing to politely let them continue their search as you continue yours.
Exclusive mindset. That's awesome, Mr.
Yeah.
Paul. So, what is the better goal for argument than winning, and how can a man shift his focus to a goal in the heat of the moment?
How can he shift his focus of the goal in the heat of the moment?
Yes, please.
Well, I think your goal should always be constant throughout. It's during the week, it's on the weekend, it's before you leave your place, and it's while you're on a date. You've always got a constant goal. That goal is to find somebody who you enjoy spending your time with, who you find genuine interest with and connection, and feel that a long-term relationship is possible. So be honest with yourself in the moment. And if somebody does something or says something or acts in a way that you don't think is a fit for who you're looking to be with, then either, bring that up. If you think it's something that could be discussed, maybe it's a misunderstanding. Maybe it's something that a conversation could lead to better clarification. Or maybe this just isn't someone who's going to be a fit for you, and be honest with yourself and just say, hey, you know what? I think we're two different people, but I wish you the best. I got to go.
Definitely. Let it go, let it go. For fathers who does actively sharing a mental and emotional load of parenting,
Mm.
transform the relationship with their co-parent.
Co-parenting, I'm experiencing that as we speak. My wife and I have a 10-month-old daughter. She'll be 11 months next week. um that's a lot of communication in real time, and it's got to involve a lot of time management, a lot of work management, stress management. We've got to be able to say, hey, so what is it we're finding that this baby needs from us? What are our time commitments? What are our regular expectations? And how do we divide these things in ways that feel balanced, so one doesn't feel like the other's doing all the work? um yeah, communication and management, huge, critical.
Mr. Paul, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my comedy 101 in a third season, as well as my book 101 to be in fifth season, and food 101, geography 101, love letters, movie 101, and music are in fourth season, science 101 and sex 101 in second season, and my baby podcast, law 101, mental health 101, and Bible Survival versus 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. So, Mr. Paul, ultimately, beyond more peaceful home or better sex life, what is the deeper, more fulfilling reward of a man?
In order, a lot of guys aim for acceptance. I teach guys to aim for really turning your wife on, man. Your girlfriend, you got to turn her on. She's got to think that you're hot, dude. Not just acceptable. She's got to see you as hot. And that's the real goal. That's where things are going to get a lot more exciting. And there are a lot of ways to do it. And it's not trickery, it's not BS. It's very real. So again, get excited about who you are, make goals as to things in your life that you want to do or experience that turn you on, wake you up, give you some adrenaline that you think are really exciting to you, whatever they are. And it doesn't have to be universally exciting. It doesn't mean you have to go out and be a race car driver or something, just whatever you're into that gets you excited, makes you feel like you're living a life that really turns you on. You get serious about that for
Yes.
yourself, it's gonna carry over to her. It will.
Definitely it will. And Mr. Paul, again, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, people can reach me at paulroseberry.com, Roseberry. And they can reach me on Instagram. Oh, there's that music again. Paul_Roseberry_ on Instagram. I think we're getting musicked over a little bit there. Yep, that's how they can reach me.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Paul Rosenberg, because if you support him, for sure,
Roseberry,
Roseberry, sorry.
Roseberry. That's all right.
Yes, let's support Mr. Paul Roseberry, because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering relationship will rise. So, Mr. Paul, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Daniel. Talk to you soon.
Monica, people, see you soon.